So it's advisable that we take precautions, especially those of us close to the coastline, Nungwa, and its environs up to Cape Coast into western regions. We need to be a bit careful. If you are also around the flood-prone areas too, though we are not expecting much for some areas, they just have to be extra careful today so that in case of any flood formation, they should be safe so that they don't get themselves drowned.
Right. And people are usually asked to move to higher grounds. What would you say to that?
That one is a little bit difficult for me to say now because, to be frank with you, I was not able to check the forecast on Wednesday yesterday that much, though we're expecting this today. This is where we need a radar to be readily available that we can just click and then be able to give to you. So we just have to use the manual calculation, which unfortunately I was not able to do. And those on duty too, they're also very busy now. So you have to pardon us. But then if you're around the water-prone areas, the flood-prone areas, just be on the lookout for flash floods, especially in Accra.
Felicity, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And today's the birthday of Prince Henry in Koforidua, one of our ardent listeners. Says William has to pay for that Dr. Baumia spell that he's the laughter. You have to pay for it. Oh. Prince Henry, happy birthday to you. Here's Dr. Baumia. That's Dr. Baumia's laughter. It's good for you, especially now that the rain is coming up.
Felicity says she has to do manual calculations because they still don't have the reader because they are still owed money.
Plenty money.
Plenty.
Why aren't they going institution by institution like the ECG to go and collect their monies? Because the ECG is making quite a good amount of money coming in because of what they're doing. I mean, airport company paid them, Parliament paid them. You know, they're going to different places. They're paying them money. And Mr. Mahama, lawyer Mahama, who is the boss, says, look, it would be better if you actually made a call to say, give me a loan to pay back whatever it is I owe the ECG rather than calling them to keep my lights on.
He says the time is now. You pay.
Pay. But you have consumed the what do you call it? You have consumed the power. Won't you pay?
You have to pay.
This thing is just a cultural issue. This is Ghana. You won't find this in a very serious country. You are in the UK. You are using power. You won't pay.
How?
Who should
Even
pay
if your
for
rent
you to
delays
use
2
the
days,
power?
you are homeless. You are sleeping outside.
Yes.
One time.
Quick.
Masa.
Because you're paying on the monthly basis.
Yeah.
Quick.
Crazy says if you have to go and find loan, you go and find a loan.
The code that will catch you in your room, you have to go and pay. Because you see, because God has given us all these things, we take things for granted.
You're not paying TV licenses, you're watching TV.
You are watching TV. UK, you don't pay TV licenses.
Come on.
You don't pay electricity. You don't pay water.
When I was a student, we used to have a TV, but we didn't want to pay the £100 and something for the license. So what you do is if you think they come and inspect, they come and knock. You say, hey, inspector, you go and take your TV and hide it in someone's room. They come and say, oh, we don't have TV. We don't have TV.
But they actually have sensors that they use to check.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't get away with it.
Yeah.
You'll pay.
But if you are serious,
come on.
What they have done, I mean, the exercise that they launched, if they are going to sustain it, I don't think we'll have this conversation, but that if they can sustain it.
Well, there are always powers that be. I mean, look at how Henry Quartey started. And look at how Henry Quartey has been told to...
And the MD has started receiving calls.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
A lot of calls.
Receiving calls.
But then what I like is that he said he has backing from the very top. Which means that the government recognizes that they need money. And if people owe them money, because you need to show the IMF that we are collecting so much, we have so much to be able to offset whatever it is that you give us. And since 1999, we've been at the IMF for how many times? 19 times, right? And if you look at, in 1999, we got 303.5 million. dollars.
Right.
In 2003, we got $244.7 million. In 2009, we got $513.9 million. In 2015, we got $900 million. 2022, 2023, we don't know how much we're going to get, if they're going to give us all the $3 billion we're asking for. That raises a question to $1.96 billion. How much did COVID give us? COVID gave us in excess of $2 billion. COVID alone. So all what we have borrowed since 1999 till 2015, which we extended to 2019, is $1.96 billion. COVID alone gave us $2 billion. Sikanwai.
And here we are, which makes me feel very sad that until a big brother is watching over you, the things you need to do, you won't do. All of this fever and energy, we could have been using it years ago when we needed to rake in all the cash we needed. We've waited till now, and now you want to show your cratchy powers. Oh, come on.
Come on. Well, the Ghanaian Observer this morning says poverty our enemy, peace and development are objectives. Vice President Dr. Baumia, Kumasi Traders Hill VIP Baumia, also the government to accredit cybersecurity professionals, and government woos rice investors in Thailand. What about those in Ghana? Cocoa Board rolls out Cocoa Farmers Pension Scheme. On the front page of the Finder newspaper, NPA refused gold, claims that gold for oil fuel selling at higher price, PMMC and all in the mix. I'm told that now the gold cannot be paid for in plenty of other things. Cultivate virtues of tolerance, devotion and discipline during Ramadan. President inspires Muslims. I will serve NDC and Ghana diligently, Dr. Dufour, Dr. Kwabena Dufour. And says China offers Ghana hope, says it attaches great importance to resolving Ghana's debt issues. And that's what we have here on the Finder and the Ghanaian Observer. Helen?
All right, let's take a look at the Ghanaian Times. I've got that in front of me this morning. Ministerial nominees, majority-minority tango over approval as debate ends abruptly. We know that proceedings will resume today, and we'll be keeping an eye out on that as well. Custom officer, 2 others accused of stealing gold, remanded. Asian African Consortium rallies support for Ghana's rice project. NDC remains committed to restoring hope and strengthening the economy. Dr. Dufour speaking. Yesterday, I caught little excerpts of what he had to say. He said they're going to be regional offices, party representatives will be paid monthly. He gave them some raps, and I think they enjoyed the raps, but
they fell for the rap.
It looked like it was going well, but we'll keep our eye out on the campaign trail. FDA pushes government industrialization with agenda with progressive licensing scheme. But quickly, because the FDA is mentioned here, there's an alert that's going around, and we'll post that on our socials. Contaminated eye drops, and it's caused some deaths and also a blindness, we're told, in about 8 people who've used it, 8 and counting. Now, it's called artificial tears. You see the box there. We'll post that and you check it out. Please do be careful. We'll get that communique out, as I mentioned. Be careful. Artificial tears. You see that on the box of the eye drops. People who've used it have lost their vision. Some have died. So let's be careful. But that is it on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
This one I have to take it slowly. The Republic Press. Republic Press.
A Republic Press. Don't say Republic Press.
Republic Press.
Whatever you do, don't try it.
That's why I have to take it slowly. Serving the Republic. Number 1 in courts. Number 1 in courts. I mean, the charges keep coming. He makes his 33rd appearance. Embattled the chief executive of Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Nana Appiah Mensah, has made his 33rd appearance in court on Thursday, March 23rd, 3 years and 8 months since he was first arraigned on July 12, 2019. Nana Appiah Mensah, popularly known as Number 1, was initially charged with some 13 counts, but that had since been amended, with his plea yet to be taken on the amended charge sheet filed on September 3rd, 2019, which introduced some 61 new charges.
61 new charges.
One is a hard guy.
The people he actually owes are not interested in how many charges have been brought up against him. They're interested in their money. I mean, where's our money and where's it going and all of that. And for me, I think that the government has, shall I say, protracted this matter for too long. I know people who were owed by Men's Gold who are dead. I know 2 people in my church who consistently ask me. I mean, when they heard about this bond DDP conversation, individual bondholders will be paid, which monies I'm told has not even been paid to those whose bonds matured in February and were postponed.
I think government has eventually paid.
Well,
I think
they have not.
Up.
Yesterday I had somebody. Maybe I shared the WhatsApp conversation with you. This is a priest, and he. When I get these messages, I get. So he says, "Good morning, good evening, bro. Please, I hope everything is fine. Please do you have news about the payment plan and the way forward about the individual bonds? Thank you." And he says, well, he sent me another on 15th March. Says, I hope you're doing very well by the grace of God. He says, I pray divine protection. Please, do you have any information about the payment of our investment? Mine got matured on the 20th of February, 2023. Please find out for me. Stay blessed. They have not been paid. Same thing that's happening with the NCCE. Their old money, the NCCE wrote and said, oh, Fidelity, find the money and pay them. Now, yesterday I read a letter that the NCC boss says, based on the liquidity available, if William, Helen, and I and Philip have contributed monies for 10 years, we have given it to Solution or Janet to keep for us and invest and give us the dividends for 10 years. Now, the 10 years have matured. Initially, you said you were going to give us a certain percentage of the money. You say no. Now you say, okay, pay them the money. And they say, now we are waiting for liquidity to be able to pay you. Where did that money fly to?
But government borrowing also affects some of this because the government borrows from the system through the bonds. And these fund managers take the monies and they invest in government bonds. So if government bonds are locked up, as we can see, there's no liquidity for government to pay, then it will affect you. And it's sad that individual investments have had to be treated this way because now government bonds are not even as secure as they used to be, or people thought they were.
It is not. It is not.
So what else can we invest in? And because of the land litigations we have in this country, people even fear to invest in real estate. But we had people who have bought lands and they've lost.
Then later, a new landlord comes up.
Yes, they've lost all the money they invested because that would have been a safer, vehicle to invest your money. But anyway, let's go back to the Republic Press.
Republic Press.
Slowly, Charlie. Before silences critics as he files nominations to contest Mahama. Initially people thought, will he go, will he not go? Well, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, a flag bearer aspirant of National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has resolved to bring back prosperity in the country if given the nod. Mr. Dufour's step to file his nominations to contest in the NDC's flag bearer race puts to rest doubts about whether or not he was committed to the cause. So people doubted whether
was he going to aspire or not?
Is he just doing some things, or he will go for the thing? But
and he also mentioned his Ahoto program, so he is still committed to that cause.
So,
questions people have been asking is, his staff have been complaining about not being paid over time.
That conversation is similar to the number one issue.
Let me finish my point. People are asking the question. You're promising the people of Ghana Ahunto, and you have not given your staff Ahunto. How should we trust you? This is a case of Kwatikras over Mount Martin.
But yesterday, when I heard him speak, he said he's going to party boys and girls who are working diligently will get a monthly.
I'm not talking about party boys and in Ghanaians. I'm talking about his staff.
His staff.
Yes, his staff. They are complaining that they have not been paid. When you meet them, they say, Charlie, what's back way, scanning by.
When was the last time they complained?
Boss.
I'm sure by now.
Do you want us to call them? Yeah, I have numbers I can call them.
I'm sure by
or should
now.
I call you? Should I call you?
I'm not the staff. I used to be, but I'm not. Anyway, so I still insist that I'm not. That's why Namwan's charges keep changing, because you see.
Well, but you're going to give us information that
the information
akin to Namwan.
Exactly the point. That's why I started with Namwan. You see, Namwan is an independent person from the business person of Men's Good. So anytime the Men's Good issues come up, he has even made a point before that I don't owe anybody. Is he a director or is he a shareholder? Those are very interesting legal things.
William, when you lift the veil, you will see
But you
the
don't just leave the
individuals.
veil.
No, you will lift the veil, because now that he has started making those arguments, you will lift the veil.
But he has been, I mean, the first time you made the argument, nobody lifted any veil. Dr. Dufour's issue, when the matter started, he was asked to put his books together in 6 months and present for inspection. 5 months, you take the man's licenses.
Right.
He was taken to court.
It was not just him, Royal Bank.
Yes,
and
the
all
case
of
couldn't
those
fly
banks.
because
Heritage.
it was not running on the basis of natural justice. If it were, you'll be in court by now.
Look, I've always, at the risk of not sounding or getting into issues of contempt and sub judice, I followed the NAM1 conversation for a long time. Lawyer Kwame Kufu at some point even wrote and said that they do not understand what SEC and Bank of Ghana were directing them to do to even comply. I still have that letter. He wrote that. Kwame Kufu signed that. Then subsequently, you call, I think it was George Quay at the time. He called George Quay, he says, call Kwame Kufu. Call Kwame Kufu, he says, call George Quay.
George Quay was...
Yes,
PR.
he went there to do PR, and then he comes ni ama Tefu. Yeah, no, but he was the PR.
The way he put it, he went there to do
But he was there. What was he employed to do? No be PR. Then my producer here at the time, who left, went to other media. I mean, Niama Tefu. He went there to do PR as well. I mean, so the point is that when you have those letters having been written to say you don't even understand the directive you have been given to abide by them, then you raise the concerns. When the matter comes, people say, hey, okay, so you are trying to say you don't even know what's going on. And then that's where the problem is.
Anyway,
That's where the
Ofanochi Hospital blocks IT system to disallow social media access at work. So if you're a nurse and the patients are coming in, you have no opportunity to be on your phone. I think it's a good step.
I agree with them, because you have some of these nurses and doctors get on their phones and if it's for research purposes while they are in the consulting rooms, that's fine. So you have certain sites that they can quickly go and get some additional information, so maybe you're being diagnosed for headache and these are the symptoms to look out for. But then you have an additional symptom that they have not seen before. They can quickly check with other professional groupings, and that I agree. But WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, but I mean, they are not blocking internet. They are just blocking social media.
So
I just hope that it works. But of course, I mean,
if you really need a doctor and you have to get through to them, send them an email. They have an email.
And even doing lectures, doing conferences, people are all on their phones. I mean, it's becoming a widespread issue.
It's a big canker. This happens in other places as well. There are some companies where it's a hard policy. These sort of websites, you won't be able to access it during your working hours on their particular,
In fact, we have some restaurants where they advise they have put a basket or something, or some receptacle around the restaurant. As soon as you get there, you drop in your phone before you go and sit down, just to encourage bonding.
And to encourage face-to-face chats.
Yeah, you go out with your friends.
So my phone, if I drop, it's a national security issue.
You drop it. I mean, you go and sit down.
No, and even for myself, I want to start using social media less, because you start, by the time you realize you've lost so many productive hours while not just for walking around.
59 grabbed for defiling 12-year-old girl.
He has to be whipped first of all. Was he whipped? Was he caned? He had to be caned.
And that's a sad one on the front.
I wonder if that's the same story here that says man gets 180 days for indecent assault.
108 or 180.
They said 180 for indecent assault on a 10-year-old.
He was fondling the young lady's breast.
That's
he has to be whipped first of all. I would be so disappointed if he wasn't whipped. He had to be whipped.
I mean, in some
whipping.
Some jurisdictions you'll be openly flogged.
Yeah, Sharia law.
2023 Green Ghana Day, Eastern Region to plant 600 trees.
You see the thing I've been talking about.
Exactly.
Distribution of seedlings is not equivalent to because we have seen the seedlings being.
So they should say they are going to distribute 600,000.
Thank you.
Trees.
And then we will go back to monitor and say, out of the 600,000, this was what was planted. You have bundled figures of 7 million and 20 million. Show us where the trees are. You can't show us where the trees are. And then when you ask the question, they say, you are anti-government. I'm anti-government, saying. So you have spent my monies to plant trees. That's what you are telling me. And you can't show me where the trees you planted are. And you have not paid the youth in afforestation. And you are not monitoring the trees.
And we've seen abandoned seedlings. We have to ask
And
questions.
we still have a law on our books that says causing financial loss in the state, and it's not being applied.
Yes,
boss.
so protecting our purse, the public purse, pledge to scrap ex gratia. I invite you all, including MPP,
John
to join
Mahama.
me, form a consortium to check that. That's according to former President John Dramani Mahama.
All of the things he's saying, I hope he recognizes that we're in the age where we keep score. Everything you say, we keep score. You have this present government on many occasions, even if they won't tell you they're eating humble pie, eating a hefty dose of humble pie because we have refused to forget. We are relentless. We will play back the laughter.
Half-baked.
Half-baked, but they have to eat it. We'll play back everything you said. Nobody put a gun to your head to give promises, assurances, ideas, policies. You came on your own volition. I didn't put myself forward to be president because I don't have any ideas for you people. Those that said they had ideas put themselves forward, and you are accountable to the people.
I think that thing, and we'll go back to it, William. What John Mahama says about scrapping ex gratia. Number one, we need to recognize that there's an entrenched clause in the Constitution, which will require
71
a referendum. Yes, which will require a referendum, which will also require the NCC to do at least 6 months of education, which will require Parliament to go to do their back and forth, which will require that people are invited to bring memorandum here and there, the 3 readings, and then we will eventually take the vote on the referendum and come then and into Parliament and continue the process. He has 4 years if he wins the election. If he wins the elections, he cannot do it within that time.
Oh, but
He can start the conversation. And I'm happy that he is asking for everybody to join him. Because the point is that Katie Hammond, my good friend Dr. Stephen Amoa,
Sika.
Dr. Amin, and all those people who have been vetted, whose approval is hanging, once we approve them, they are getting ex gratia. From a country that doesn't have, once we approve them, they are getting ex gratia. Like it or not. Come on.
But he is saying that he has every confidence that an independent emoluments commission can determine the conditions of service of all public officers, from the president to the lowest ranking public officer on government's payroll. So he has expressed the confidence, and I'm positive that if he initiates the move, at least, and is sustained by subsequent government, if after his term, we'll get there. So at least the idea is a good one.
I like it because it's going to save us money.
Yeah,
but
of
will the
course.
politicians agree? Because this will go back to Parliament. Parliament are beneficiaries of ex gratia.
Yeah, the MPs.
Yeah, if you have a council of state that's a beneficiary of ex gratia, and they will be consulted, and the same council of state will appoint a party person to become a member of the electoral commission, and they are there watching. But
Quick one though before we go. This one was captured yesterday on one of the front pages. I wanted to highlight, but we didn't get a chance. Fitch upgrades Ghana's rating to CCC.
Si nanako ta ta bongo bongo to e mami e papa e bombo fire.
International Ratings Agency Fitch Ratings has upgraded Ghana's long-term LT, that's long-term LT local currency LC issuer default rating, to CCC from RD. To be honest, I didn't even clock the day we reach RD. Oh, okay. Now we've been pulled from RD.
But we have been at CCC before.
Aye.
So that's the Ajana 1, Ajana 2 I've been talking about. We move 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards.
You know what? I didn't. Okay.
You didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that we had even slipped further to RD. Well, we've been pulled back up to CCC. Let's see how long we stay and if we can improve on that score. This score, as we talked about, has not been contended. The metrics have not been challenged.
Usually the finance minister will say, no, it's not true. No. The president will come and say, oh, no, you're talking down on Akashi. You don't have to do that.
Johnny, just 1 second,
Yes,
something that will interest you and I, because we are also members of the Arts and Tourism Fraternity. Yes. I'm a proud founding president of
Yes,
the Arts
I
and Tourism
acknowledge you,
Association
Mr.
of
President.
Ghana.
Wow.
And you were a member.
I acknowledge you, Mr. President. I acknowledge you.
Yeah.
Mr. President.
But unfortunately, I've just read somewhere that there was no creative person or arts person in the state awards.
This is awards.
That
Still will not be the first time. John Mahama also didn't award in the
so what happened? Are we not doing enough to get state recognition and so on and so forth? But still in the
No, let's stay on that one.
Yeah.
I'm concerned because you see, oftentimes when And I was just discussing with a friend of mine who was part of the fumigation exercise across the country. He and whoever he worked with and all those connected were not even giving a mention or recognition. What was the fumigation supposed to achieve? That this office will come and fumigate the place and say, Charlie, it's safe, you can inhabit it. So if you're talking about those who helped to fight COVID, he's one of those. If you're talking about those who helped to fight COVID, all those comedians and those content creators on social media who were creating contents where people were on lockdown, they were not going to work, they were at home bored, they wouldn't find idle hands to do unnecessary things. And they created content that people could actually watch to keep body and soul together, not to be depressed, inspire hope. You think that they were not qualified to get any national honor? I think that our thinking is so shrewd and skewed towards, it has to be the doctor, the nurse, the contact tracer, and the people at the Ministry of Information. If the people of the Ministry of Information can be giving awards, why can't the people in the creative sector be given awards?
By the time we realize the currency in this creative sector, it'll be too late.
And I remember that even when I was on TV3, Bellamundi and Stephen Henti at the time, they had a whole daily program for COVID-19.
Yes.
Right?
And then Bella and Anita started doing it.
Yes.
COVID 360.
COVID 360.
That's the
Stephen
one.
Henti and then Anita came in the bit. If you're looking for people who help to fight COVID, Media General started this whole COVID-19, wear your mask, use sanitizers, wash your hand, before the ministry got the mind to even do it.
A media house that did more.
Yes.
Yes. Recognized.
Other media houses were recognized. The point is that we were not recognized.
Anyway,
I remember that when within the COVID time, we're doing the election petition. There's a video that I did asking that the people should not crowd, and go and take interviews after the court sessions. But the judicial service should put a lectern so that we give some space. The pressmen stand there, you are called, and then you can come and ask your question. The video is there. I saw Justice Bamlado, and it was implemented. You're looking for people who fought COVID.
Well,
but if you are not in the good books, you are not in the good books.
There's also and the entertainment page is telling us that Okreku Mante, Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, is contesting the Ayensuano seat on the tickets of the MPP.
Takwa.
No, Ayensuano is in the Eastern region.
Yes.
Ayensuano. And so he's joining Fred Nwama, he's joining John Melo, he's joining Sadiq Baba, Abu. And these are some of the creative guys who are trying to get into parliament. There's hope that when they get there, something will change, because Mark, I haven't heard from him in a while.
As deputy minister?
Yes, I haven't heard from him in a while. And we know how loud Mark can be.
Well, if you're a deputy minister,
I haven't heard even from in a while.
Well, but if you're a deputy minister,
I haven't heard from Dr. Awal
in a while. Yes, but if you're a deputy minister,
in fact, the two of them, I haven't heard from them
in a while. Are they getting their budgetary support?
Before this party came, the noise we're making, they wanted to get a creative person in there. And Mr. Awal is also a media person. He was the former managing director of Graphic Communications Group. We got our own man, Okreku Mante, there. So we thought, two of them together, we're going to hear them. I mean,
during December times, that's when you really see Ghana rise. And even that, it's really relegated to the few spots, the Cape Coast and the Accra.
Dr. Awal's Finder newspaper is still trending, by the way, if you ask me. Daily Graphic, Daily Guide, the Finder newspaper is about the third force within that space. So privately, he is trending. What could be the problem publicly, which is why he's not? Because
there were a lot of promises made.
Because when he was business development minister, you could
feel him.
But now that's what I'm asking: is he getting the budgetary support that he's supposed to get? Because I know the fisheries ministry has the biggest budget. Forget the finance ministry. How Akumsi's ministry? Yes.
As Helen always says.
Yes.
The optics are also important.
Very much so.
Whatever it is, let's hear you. Because, as I'm saying, my boss is a communications person,
right?
So I expect to hear whatever is going on, negative or positive.
Should not be silent.
Yes,
maybe he's being silent. You're not seeing.
Because then maybe he can update it.